We're at the point of approving the minutes. We've sworn in the staff, and we have sworn in the alternate co-board member. So we just need to vote on the minutes.
So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
LaPointe, Holman, roll call.
Beerbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes?
Gonzalez,
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
Carmen,
Yes.
sorry. Okay.
So then now we're on hearing agenda. All right.
Agenda item 2024-58 is for planning and zoning. It is an appeal to case number 2024-9030, citation number 2024-15385, with a citation fine in the amount of $100 for the property located at 1508 Chestnut Street. The owner is GNP Properties. The respondent is Kelly Gohagan, who is in the audience to address the co-board this afternoon. Officer James Hetty will present the case.
Good evening. Yeah, this first one's 1508 Chestnut. I started this case, let's see, complaint July 15th, 2024. And it's a complaint of failure to install landscaping as per the approved site plan by the University District Review Committee. As you'll see on the board there's a site plan, and this one has been marked up, and that was actually the landscape was supposed to be installed, and they were notified back in August 1st of 2022, not 2024, but 2022. They failed to do that, but this one was after my initial inspection and NOV that was sent. That one has been marked up on July 29th and was sent, and that shows some of the outstanding things that needed to be corrected. One of the things is the gate to the dumpster, and that shows the September 2024. There's no gate, and the November, the one on the right is the November 2024, so it's unchanged and still out of compliance. And this shows just a demonstration of September 2024 when I inspected. That's supposed to have 23 shrubs from that dumpster on that south side of the parking lot. The November 2024 shows there's 19, so there's 4 missing through there. However, right where you can see that white car parked, there's another line on that east side of the parking that's supposed to have 17 shrubs that as of let's see, when I went up there last Thursday, I believe, they haven't been installed. So that property is 21 shrubs still not installed. There's one tree on one of those islands that's failed to be included. So as of right now, there's 21 shrubs, 1 tree, and the gate to the dumpster that needs to be screened. So going from August the 1st, 2022, this case, that property's been out of compliance for 840 days.
Gohagan. Mr. Gohagan. All right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes. All right, go ahead.
I was unaware of the shrubs on the right-hand side that what he was talking about there. I don't know which tree you're talking about in the island. Do you know which one?
I'll try it. Hold it.
All right. As you can see, this bottom part of that diagram shows 4 trees kind of out in the parking lot. The 2 on the west side or the left-hand side's there. The one towards the chestnut or the top right is there. However, the one at the bottom left is not planted. So that's the one in the island that's missing.
That's such a narrow island. We put gravel in there, and it was going to use bushes in that area instead of a tree.
The requirement is a tree. There's not an option to substitute shrubs, unfortunately.
Problem's going to be is when that tree takes hold, those roots, it's going to end up just I mean, we're only talking about, this probably is not 2.5 feet wide area.
Is this working now? This was the plan that was approved, and so we're just following the approved plan. So I understand it may be narrow, but the landscape architect designed this plan and signed off on it, so it's my understanding this should be a doable plan.
So we're talking about adding bushes in the back right, or bottom right, and then where else are we talking about?
Correct. The 17 to the east of the parking lot needs to be installed.
Bottom right.
Yes, the bottom right, and the bottom, the south side needs to have 4 more shrubs towards the dumpster.
Where else?
And the tree right out from the dumpster, and the gate on the dumpster.
So this will not change next year. You won't come back and request additional landscaping next year.
That's been the approved plan. That wasn't, well, it wasn't installed, so that's nothing new.
You brought up questions about the alleyway being cleared out. It's my understanding that the city, I guess that's part of their property.
I can't speak for the city on the alley. I'm talking about this plan that hasn't been installed.
Well, I'm requesting the alley be cleared out.
Sir, these are 2 separate issues, so
Well, we had brought it up with, I think I talked to you about that, and then Chad gave it,
Yeah, and I sent you Chad's contact.
yeah,
But that's not related to the code enforcement issue.
right.
so what's being asked of you is separate from that, so that's another conversation that you can have with them, but in terms of what we're looking at is what we're gonna focus on, so.
We'll get-
Okay, so you'll take care of it?
One question real quick. Are we pretty clear now what you need to put in? Any idea when you might do that?
Be the next couple weeks.
Other questions from the board?
I'll make a motion to uphold the citation and fine amount of $100.
I'll second it.
Point, Harmon, roll call.
Beerbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
So we thank you for being willing to comply, but the fine and citation still hold. Sir, you also need to stay for the next case.
Agenda item 2024-59 is for planning and zoning. It is an appeal for case number 2024-9031, citation number 2024-15386, with a citation fine in the amount of $100 for the property located at 1510 Chestnut Street. Owner is GNP Properties. Respondent is Kelly Gohagan, and Officer James Hetty will present the case.
Yes, good evening. This 1510 Chestnut, I got involved July the 15th, 2024 with the complaint of failure to install landscaping as per the approved site plan by the University District Review Committee. Again, August the 1st, 2022, the notification that the installed landscape wasn't installed during the University District Review Committee certification process, the same as the last property. As you'll see on this, July 29th, 2024 was a highlighted deficiencies that was outstanding on the landscape plan. And this is the back, let's see, northwest corner I'm standing. And you'll see September 2024, there's no landscaping on that. However, in November 2024, you can't really see it good, but there's 4 bushes that's been installed right above that riffraff. Yeah, right through there. And on this photo, I'm still standing in the same area. September 2024, it shows there's no landscaping up through on the west side of that parking area. November 2024, it shows some landscaping. There's a tree there. And I believe there was 14 shrubs. Can we go to the next? Yeah. On this, the highlighted area, that area requires 29 shrubs. So there's 14 shrubs that's been planted through on that west side. However, none on the bottom south part of that. And also there's 2 trees missing on this side of the west side. There's one where I'm standing, but also at the end or the top part of that parking area towards the building. Now that area also requires 4 shrubs there's a place that has concrete that will need to be cut out to allow those shrubs to be planted. Now the front part of the property, it shows that landscape plan demonstrates 6 plants. However, when I was out last week, I counted 4. So there's 2 shrubs missing in the front, 15 shrubs in the back, and the 2 trees, and that concrete needs to be cut out. So we're talking about 17 shrubs, 2 trees, and the concrete.
I don't know exactly which trees you're saying are missing, but I know there's a tree up there close to the house, there's a tree back, all the way back. There might not be a tree that's in the retainage area. And the reason we didn't plant bushes right there in that corner was because of the retainage area. We planted the bushes in where the yellow is, but on the back of the parking lot in the green there, they're planted down the side, but there's no bushes in that retainage area.
All right, as you can see, there's supposed to be another tree. There's one on this end, on the right side photo. There's the November 24. Yeah, there's supposed to be a tree where I'm standing also around that area, but there's supposed to be bushes along the south part of that parking area per the approved plan.
The approved plan doesn't show the retainage area.
I can just speak to what this approved plan says. You're supposed to put in shrubs along that parking area to fulfill that buffer, the screening for that parking area. That other tree is missing up at the top of that, where that landscape not installed arrow comes down. There is a tree on the neighbor, but that's across the property line, but there's supposed to be one in line with those shrubs. And those 4 shrubs that extend out towards that parking area.
Well, we would request a little leniency since the sidewalk is there, instead of digging up the sidewalk to plant 4 bushes.
If you want to get with ACES to do a new landscaping plan that meets the requirements of the ordinance, that's fine too. This is just what was approved. So if you want to get them to prepare something that's an alternate plan that still meets the requirements, we could look at that as an option as well.
So if they show the retainage area in the new plan, I would assume you would eliminate the bushes and the trees.
They're still required somewhere in that general area of the property. There's not an option to just remove them because there's a drainage area there.
So you want me to plant a tree in the retainage area?
You can plant it at the top of the retaining area outside of the, where it's like, where the depression is.
Can you bring that picture back up?
Yeah, so if we're looking at this photo, you could potentially plant another tree somewhere closer to where James was standing when he took the photo. And it would still be outside of the retention area.
Well, it goes back to the alleyway being grown up. I mean, if you plant a tree there, it's not gonna take, but we'll stick one in there.
Conversation from the board. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to uphold the citation and fine amount of $100.
Second. Dearbone Gonzalez. Oh, excuse me, LaPointe Gonzalez. Roll call.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
That fine and citation will stand as well. Thank you, sir.
Agenda item 2024-60 is for planning and zoning, an appeal to case number 2024-9029, citation number 2024-15384, with a citation fine in the amount of $100 for the property located at 1504 Chestnut Street. The owner of the property is Lambda Zeta House Corporation. Respondent would be Derek Lanham. I do not believe they are present this evening. So that citation and fine. Okay. Moving on to agenda number 2024-61 is an appeal for Public Works. Case number 2024-8609, citation number 2024-14741.4 for the property located at 474 Glen Lily Road. The owner of the property is Red Diamond Properties, with the respondent of Ty Nguyen. Mr. Nguyen is present this afternoon to address the board. The citation fine is in the amount of $2,000, and Officer Journey Nixon will present the case.
This case was the result of a citizen complaint on 9/23 regarding a foul odor. During the initial inspection that day by Public Works Director Andy Souza, City Environmental Manager Matt Powell, and Assistant City Engineer Chad Doty, the following violations were observed. The job site was still missing vegetative cover. There was sewage water in the drainage basin and open sanitary sewer cleanouts. There were downed tree limbs in the drainage basin. The rear grading along the back of the property line still needed to be modified to meet the grading plan submitted to the city. The rear fence during construction was damaged and requested to be repaired, and then standing water in the crawl space. Oh, yeah, okay. So on the left photo, you see that's actually a sanitary sewer clean out. It's capped off with a rock and a bag. And then the photo on the right is another sewer clean out. It's raised about 4 feet. Typically, they are capped out at, a foot or two above the ground, but none of them are capped. That's another photo on the left of the same issue. You've got a rock and a bag covering this sanitary sewer clean out. And then the photo on the right, another example of the sanitary sewers being capped off with a rock and a bag. This photo here shows drainage in the basin. And with that drainage, you can see murky colored discharge with a foul odor with it. And then on 9/27, construction coordinator Dara Price inspected the basin as part of a rainy day checklist. And upon inspection, she noted that there was suds in the basin and still a foul smell. The health department stated that the washing machines were overflowing in the apartments and coming out of the emergency floor drains. And then, Jared, this is a video, one of the videos. Okay. On 9/27, a notice of violation was sent out to the PVA listed property owner addressing compliance, and the compliance date was going to be 10/11. So Chad Doty called Ty, the contractor responsible for the job site, and told him that a notice of violation had been sent out to the property owner. In this video, you can see suds still remaining. On 10/1, just to follow kind of back, environmental manager Powell contacted Camille Hiller at the health department also in regards to the standing water in the crawl spaces, the sewer cleanouts uncapped, and discharging. And then she confirmed the washing machines were not connected to the sewer, but rather discharging out of the back of the building. On 10/14, construction coordinator Journey Nixon inspected the property and it remained in violation. All violations listed above on a couple screens back were observed with little effort noted towards compliance. And then, so the photos up there. Starting left to right, on the left side, you see there is absolutely zero vegetative cover. Final grade is not complete. The middle photo shows that the trees were still in the basin, and then the photo on the right, you still see the trees that were chopped down. So, next one, okay. All right, on 10/15, a citation was issued and mailed to the PVA listed owner and address by first class and certified mail, and was posted on the property. The compliance date was for 10/31. And then on 10/18, construction coordinator Price met with property owners at a different property on Brookshore Avenue. They are the same owners of the purchased property, 474 Glen Lily. Upon this inspection, they wanted to have a site meeting. That's the first contact that I've had with them. So I set up a site meeting for 10/23. On 10/23, myself, Assistant City Engineer Doty, and Environmental Manager Powell met with Dylan Clark, who was on behalf of the previous contractor, Ty Wynn. So Ty didn't show up. He had Dylan Clark show up for this meeting. After the meeting, I addressed all issues listed with some plans and the citation as well attached, so everyone had these notes. Upon the meeting, Ty Wynn did state that Dylan Clark would be completing the remainder of the checklist items. And then on 23, to summarize, this was the state of the property again. Down trees, open sewer cleanouts in the middle photo, and then once again on that last photo, same issue. After the site meeting, construction coordinator Nixon sent up a follow-up email, and that follow-up email was going to be for 10/31. But also in this photo, there was still some remnants of some liquid in the basin, and based off mesonet and other factors, we just proved that there was no rain during this time. So still a little foul odor smell, uncapped sewer cleanouts. On inspection for 10/31, hadn't had any compliance from property owner or Ty. So on 10/31, I noted that once again there was zero vegetative cover. The fence was still damaged from construction. The trees were removed from the basin. I had requested a plumbing inspection in some form of document that said that, you know, the plumbing had passed. And then riprap for the head wall, which was called out in the plans a couple of photos back. Those items were still not fixed. And then that's it. Today's inspection, I went out there before this meeting. Backfill for all the apartments. So there's 3 apartment complexes. And the photos above, you can see they did seed and straw, but then if you go to the 3rd photo, you can see that there's absolutely zero backfill. You see asphalt, and then you see the dirt that was left. And then the dumpster pad to the right, you see once again that no seed and straw, it's rock from where they laid asphalt, just to show that the backfill is not there. You can do the next photo. And the next 3 slides are gonna be the same thing, seed and straw. These photos, that's grass in patches, but there's also rock. On that 2nd photo, there's rock in where the grass is. 3rd photo, you go around building 2. Once again, that's mud patches. It's not gonna grow any grass. There were no grass seed evident. And then you can go on to the next slide if you want. Okay. The fence was repaired. And then, let's see, in the basin did not have seed. So around the basin, they did throw straw net and seed down. The backfill it's not proper backfill. You've got rock in there, you've got construction material in there. And then this is our outlet pipe. So the outlet pipe is, your water is supposed to shoot out to the adjacent property. This is actually backflowing into the basin. And then on the plan set that was attached and sent to the property owner and previous contractor shows the standard detail that was submitted and approved. I spoke with Ty this morning at 12:15 or this afternoon. He asked if the site was good to go. I still requested a plumber. I need the inspection. Ty did say that he fixed the issues himself. The plumber actually called me this afternoon. He said that he would meet me on site tomorrow and that he would flush all systems. He would also inspect the washing machines and make sure that all the sewer sanitary cleanouts were up to code. So.
Mr. Nguyen?
Hello,
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
sir?
All right, state
Mr.
your name. and
Nguyen,
go ahead.
did you want an interpreter?
No.
No? Okay.
I used to own this property and I have sold it to Miss Two over there. I think in August, and before we do the closing, I done all the inspection already. All the missing cap, the cap for the sewer line was there, and I don't know who took it out. But before I sold it, we passed all the inspection and everything. And it been sold 3-4 months ago. And all the letters been sent to the new owner, so I haven't been noticed about all this picture. So
Did they forward that information to you when they
No.
were getting the letters?
2 weeks ago, but I was working in Finland, and 2 weeks I don't have enough time to fix everything. But again, before I transfer this unit to them, I've done all the inspection, it all passed. So I really don't know what's going on here.
Say you sold the property? Okay, so
In
you don't-
August.
Okay.
Yes.
So they own it now?
They are the owner.
Okay. Okay.
Am I allowed to speak? Okay, so as Ty said, he did sell the property. But before selling the property, we had been on site and doing inspections on behalf of Public Works. And the inspections that we conduct are for stormwater infrastructure. And these are things that we had spoke with you about, as far as completing all of these items. So he was aware before he sold the property.
So council, so it would still fall under him though, correct? Okay. Okay.
I do have a question about the fence. Can you go back to it? You said he did fix it?
So-
That's fixed?
If you zoom in, it is hard to tell. He left the pole in the back, and it looks like he just put standard, I don't know what that is, poles in there, but it's standing upright and it's fixed, and it was required. We can go into further and say, hey, you need to rip it out entirely. It's upright, and that's as far as,
But it is compliant?
it is compliant. Well,
If the requirement is for a fence and the T-posts make it a stable fence, then it meets requirements. It doesn't have to look pretty. Additionally, and correct me if I'm wrong, Journey, that the new owners were verbally notified of all of these violations on the 18th of October when they met at the Brookshore property. So that was a month before the property was cited. That brings us here tonight. So they were well aware of all of these issues as well, even the new owners, by that verbal notification. And then they said that Mr. Nguyen was going to be making those corrections, and so he wanted to come talk tonight.
And so if the plumber comes tomorrow and all of that checks out, what left would be out of compliance? Or would there be anything that's really, what would be left out of compliance? Let me put it that way.
Backfill only on a couple of areas, but it was just the backfill and then the outlet pipe for the head wall, only because what you're going to have is you're not going to have a detention basin anymore. So these are plans that are submitted, and it was submitted as a detention. You're going to have water going back into that basin, and it's going to be holding, and then it's going to get stagnant.
When you say backfill, what do you mean? Are you talking about just more dirt where?
Oh, backflow, sorry. The grade of that outlet pipe, it actually shoots back in. So you see that straw going back into that pipe.
What about the backyard? Did he seed it?
There is seed thrown down. Yeah, there's seed and there's straw. So what is left is backfill, but
Is it gonna hold up? I mean, it kind of, from the video, it kind of looked like, if you get a strong rain, it's gonna just be washed away.
exactly.
So we're gonna be in this spot again.
Exactly. So that's why it's so important, and that's why I kind of keep highlighting backfill, 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 because you have that and it's laying on top of rock. So that second problem is they threw seed and straw on rock.
Mr. Nguyen, hearing this, are you able to get that taken care of and get it taken care of to a level where it's not going to just easily wash away and find ourselves back in this circumstance?
The picture behind the base, building number 3. Yeah, we already fixed all that.
Backfill around all 3 buildings. So you never placed a backfill. You threw seed and straw on your final grade, but the final grade without the backfill.
Backfill mean you mean, I need to topsoil back?
Yes,
Oh.
you have to have topsoil.
Okay, we put fertilize. That's what they told me at Lowe's. It's gonna help the grass grow, but I did not know I have to bring topsoil. But if
Okay, yeah, sorry if I didn't explain the backfill.
oh well,
Okay.
I thought backfill is just put grass and it grows. So
Okay.
it's just. But yeah, tomorrow I can put backfill topsoil. And can you show me the picture of the clean out behind building number 3 that come out with no cap on? Yeah. The green pie, please. The 6-inch. Yeah, not that one. Yeah, that pie right there, that's not a clean now. It's just some trash left from the job and somebody just stick it on the ground. It's not a clean now.
The first photo,
Yeah, the green pie with no cap on. Yeah, that's not a clean now.
that's trash?
That's just trash. Somebody just stick it on the ground. It's not a clean now. So,
Okay,
and we already throw it away.
okay.
Yeah,
Can you go to my inspection photos from today? I want to double check. Yeah, I think it crashed.
How long has these apartments been occupied?
Oh,
August, since August.
CO, I wouldn't know off the top of my head whenever they got their certificate of occupancy. But it was during the summer sometime, yeah.
In standing water in the crawl space?
Yes, that was reported by the environmental manager, Matt Powell. And then the health department was notified of that. Okay, go to the basin photos. I want to see if that green pipe is still sticking up. Back corner. Okay. It's hard to tell from here, but I'll be on site tomorrow regardless, and I can check it out. But if it is trash and it is still there, you have to pull it.
It's
if you
just
didn't.
trash and
Okay.
somebody just stick it up. I don't know why they did
Okay,
that, but
okay.
it's not a clean out.
Okay,
We only have one clean out on the right side
okay.
of the buildings, number.
So is he gonna be out of compliance until he has grass?
I would say so, only because it's in plans. Whenever you submit plans to the city, that you have to seed straw. It's in our EPSC manual, and he was aware of it. Only because,
The reason I ask, I don't see that he's gonna be able to grow any kind of grass with the temperatures dropping, and I just feel like that it's probably gonna,
From the seating and strawing or a straw mat would meet that requirement, would it not? for the temporary, for the time being? I mean,
Yeah, if
someone
you can
finishes-
have it stabilized, of course,
So
yeah.
the
As
stabilized
long-
soil in some of these pictures is adequate, even if the grass isn't growing, because he has taken the measures once it's able to grow?
If he puts straw mat,
Correct. As long as that's
Exactly.
in all the proper locations, it's backfilled so that the concrete doesn't crumble, the soil is at the proper level, and then he seeds and straws on top of that, correct?
Yeah, yeah. He'll have to pin it, stabilize it, yeah.
it's not just the dirt, you need to also do the straw as well.
The basin?
For all the areas that don't have grass.
Yeah, we put all the grass seed down a couple of days ago already,
So,
all around the property. If you look, you will see it.
But you see in this picture,
Yes.
you need to cover that area as well.
Yeah, it was too wet a couple of days ago.
Okay.
It's too
But
wet.
you're
and-
going to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I will. But it was too wet and muddy, and there's no way. We just want to wait for a couple of days until it dry up a little bit, and we get down.
Attorney, just to clarify for Mr. Nguyen while he's here on public record, the dirt in these areas needs to come all the way to the top of this concrete, and then the grass or seed straw mat or whatever needs to be above that level, or the dirt comes up to where the seed and straw then is at the top of this level? Which one does he need to do?
you need to add dirt all the way up to where the concrete is. And then you add your mat on top of that for stabilization until you can get some grass in the spring.
Mr. Nguyen, all the areas where there's concrete that's sticking out like this, in any of these areas, the dirt needs to come all the way to the top, and then you put your seed and straw on top of that. Okay?
I can fix that.
Okay.
Any more conversation? Okay, if not, I will entertain a motion to table this until, I guess, what would be our next meeting to see if you are in compliance, and then we will go from there. And this will give you time to make all the necessary changes and corrections, and anything you have questions about, you'd be able to talk to Journey and figure out exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
So that's my motion.
Second?
Dearborn, Lapointe, roll call.
Earbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
So you're good. So you now have until our next meeting to make the changes, and Madam Clerk will get back with you to let you know when the next meeting is.
Mr. Chairman, I believe he's here for the next case as well.
Oh, next case as well? Okay.
Yeah.
Agenda item 2024-62 is for Public Works. It's an appeal to a citation for case number 2024-8628. Citation number is 2024-14776.1 with a citation fine in the amount of $1,200. The property location is 313 Brookshore Avenue. The owner is Red Diamond Properties LLC. The respondent is Ty Nguyen, and Officer Dara Price will present the case.
This case was the result of a complaint-based inspection conducted on 9/26/24. During the initial inspection, the following violations were observed. No permit or prior approval for front sidewalk construction and stair pads built for back porch area. No stormwater best management practices, BMPs, installed for the silt control. No vegetation established for stabilization of the job site. Structural head wall infrastructure not installed on both ends of driveway tile. No grade work or side work permit or any prior approval for grading and construction on site. Equipment parked in drainage ditch and leaking hydraulic fluid. An NOV was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on 9/27/24 with a compliance inspection date of 10/11/24. Phone contact was attempted with property owner, Mr. Ty Nguyen, and he did not answer. A voicemail was attempted, but the mailbox was full. The NOV was also posted on the property taped to the front door. On 10/14/24, oh, sure. So what you see here is patchy stabilization. He needed to clean up and backfill, bring in some topsoil and backfill to the top of the driveway, the black top on the driveway. He needed to clean up, there was, random trash everywhere and big chunks of rock and concrete in random places. There was some drywall illicit discharge, just randomly sprawled on the sides of the home. Needed quite a bit of grading, needed quite a bit of stabilization. He definitely needed some vegetation on the property. He did have the, if you go back to the left, you see that piece of equipment is sitting next to the drainage ditch, but it had a hydraulic leak in the drainage ditch, which is going down towards KYTC's right-of-way ditch there on Veterans Memorial. And then there was just quite a bit of trash, quite a bit of rock that was left in spots that would prevent vegetation from growing. Let's see. The drain that goes up under the driveway needed to be able to be free for water to flow through. There was trash preventing that, and also the end of the tile was crushed and is still crushed as of this morning to where it doesn't freely flow water through to get to the ditch. Okay. On 10/14/24, the property was inspected and remained in violation with no change, although the equipment had been removed from the property. On 10/15/24, phone contact was attempted with property owner, and he did not answer. A voicemail was attempted, but the mailbox was full. A citation was issued and sent to the property address by mail and posted on the property. The compliance inspection date listed on the citation was 10/25/24, which has since been postponed due to the filed appeal. On 10/18/24, I did an on-site meeting with the property owner per his request and Mr. Nguyen, who claimed to be the property, or she was not, the property owner said she was not proficient in speaking English, but refused our offer to use the city's language line translation service and wanted Mr. Nguyen to translate for her. City Environmental Manager Matt Powell was also present for this meeting on site. Requirements were again explained, and the owners were educated on how to bring the property into compliance. So these photos here show the concrete work and stairs that were being built without a permit or prior approval. The stairs are not in compliance, as I was told by buildings. And this is a drainage infrastructure that comes from under the main roadway that was damaged. I had asked him multiple times to fix this. His repair was acceptable, but he still had a piece of a form stuck up under there, and he had quite a bit of vegetation blocking the outlet end and trash. He also needed to do quite a bit of grading around it due to rock and dirt being pushed all around in there. He did, however, install some pop-up spouts from the drains because he had been told prior he needed the downspouts, or I mean the drainage on the edge of the building needed proper routing, and so he did install one pop-up spout. But as you can see, most of that is the backyard, and it is mostly rock, and so that was a huge pile that was spread out. It was mostly dirt, but he spread the rock out, which in turn is going to make it harder for him to grow vegetation there. Here it just shows another photo of the form that was just left and the repair that he made to our drainage structure under the roadway. That photo up at the top there is the sidewalk that they decided to add. That was an addition that they did after the final had been given to them without any permit or approval. There was a lot of rock that was sprawled out there. I told him that he needed to bring in some topsoil and backfill in up to the top of the concrete pads that he had now poured and to the top of the blacktop there for the driveway. He also was told to pick up the trash. He had to install some drains there on those concrete pads because water is holding in front of the garage doors, so that's why he had to install that. I don't think that, or actually I know that the grade of the driveway was not proper. It wasn't done properly. And also now the downspouts, on this date, the downspouts were flopping and not even attached to the side of the home, so. Okay, let's see. 10/23/24, Mr. Nguyen called and requested an inspection after he had done some grade work before he brought in topsoil for backfill and requested photos. I sent photos in text and again told him what needed to be done to complete the project for compliance. So this was his requested inspection. This was some of the grade work that he did. I told him whenever I spoke with him on the phone and in text that he needed to still clean up a little bit around the pop-up spout. He still needed to add more topsoil up next to the blacktop there where you see a lot of that gravel. It needs topsoil so it can grow some vegetation there. And he also hadn't graded completely everything that I had asked him to or requested, but he had made some progress. 10/24/24, Mr. Nguyen called to let me know he was installing the topsoil for the backfill and establishing the stabilization with seed and straw. On 10/25/24, I did a formal inspection and noted efforts towards compliance, but still had a few things to work on. I told him that he still needed to stabilize all of the property with seed and straw. He needed to clean up the rough cut grade in the main drainage ditch to make a smoother flow for stormwater travel towards KYTC's right-of-way fence. He needed to install head wall infrastructures on both sides of the driveway tile for proper drainage. And then he needed to install BMPs until vegetation is established for stabilization, so silt does not run off. As of this writing, 11/13/24, the property remains in violation. This case has been open for 49 days. I make a motion to uphold the citation and.
Do you want to go through these?
All right. This was an inspection that I did this morning. Sorry, I'm new. This was the inspection that I did this morning, and I tried to make it a little bit better with notes. So this first part here is next to the roadway. This is actually city right-of-way that he used without permission for construction, storage, and for parking. He was instructed to, since it's mostly rock, to spread topsoil out there and establish some vegetation there. That is a drain coming out from the side of the house that has random debris blocking the water flow, and it's not properly graded. There's a huge area that doesn't have stabilization right there in the second photo. There's quite a bit of silt runoff towards the KYTC right-of-way, and that is not something that we want. He did properly install straw bedding over the back part of the property. I do have concern about it growing since most of it is rock, but that's how he repaired it. There's been no updated inspection from buildings yet on adding or on the stair structures. There's not been any BMPs in place around the drainage pipes going upward, this drainage pipe right here is actually going up, as I tried to indicate with the arrow. It's hard for water to drain out of that if it's angled upwards. It needs to be lowered, and it needs to just be graded better around it. That whole entire ditch there just needs to be completely regraded. There's another ditch that also flows into that. He did install quite a bit of straw netting and seed, but it just needs more stabilization. You can do that with a winter fescue, especially this time of year, it will grow. There's a pop-up spout that we seen beforehand. He just covered it. I actually had to like rip a little hole there in his netting just to kind of show you that it's broken and it's not going to be functional anymore. And it can't work properly if it's got netting setting on top of it. It's supposed to pop up. There was one area where the straw bedding was very weak and bare in spots. There was seed there, but I believe that the straw needs to be a little bit thicker. Again, there's still trash just randomly sitting there. The photo there with the line that's going down it, that is the main drainage ditch, and it has a rough cut edge there. I had asked several times if he could smooth that out to make it like a swell so it doesn't eat away at the neighboring property. It still has not been achieved. And then that drain, that is the crushed drain as of this morning, that has trash in it, and it has netting now kind of blocking part of it. And it wasn't graded properly before the netting covered it. The netting a lot of times is used to hide those imperfections when you don't grade properly. And you could definitely tell if you know what you're looking for that is not the proper way to do that. And it also does not have a head wall on either side, and it's supposed to.
You made a comment, I didn't quite understand, something about the gutter downspouts.
Yes.
What was your comment?
Downspouts, the gutters are part of the drainage, so we check those. And if they're not properly installed, then it can pond at the bottom, right below them, and then just erode and eat away. And so we suggest in certain areas that they put pop-up spouts. They attach them to like a pop-up spout where it will pop itself up and kind of disperse evenly away from the home, other than eating away right there at the edge. Mm-hmm. These here were not attached to the building properly and were just flopping. So.
And then the stairs, you said the stairs weren't compliant?
I was told by the building inspector that they were not, but they have yet to get out there to check that out yet.
Okay.
Are they floating? Or does
Yeah.
it just look
It's
like
not-
that?
I was told, I'm not a building inspector, but I was told they're supposed to sit flush with the concrete. And that was also built without a permit or approval.
How does somebody get this far along without permits? I mean, seemingly wouldn't a grade work or site work permit have to been applied for and a drawing of some sort?
There are often times that we tell people not to do things and they still do them. That's this situation.
Yeah, because you can't undo that, right? I mean, that's
That's what I was going to ask. How old is this structure? So I was kind of wondering what's caused all the erosion and all the other issues around an existing structure? I mean, just them doing work on part of it? I mean, I'm trying to think about what's caused all these issues.
Failure to stabilize, I think, would be the biggest key. So if you think of a regular construction site, and certainly they would be, stop me if I'm misinterpreting this, but if you think of a regular construction site, once the main structure is built or you have footers and concrete down, they come back through and they smooth out dirt up to that level, and then they go inside and they finish building the rest of it, right? They don't go inside and finish building the rest and leave the outside to where now it's washing away for a year, which more or less it seems like is what happened here. Furthermore, when they have areas where the downspouts are not only not attached to the building, but then they're just flopping around, and the grade of the driveway is back towards the house instead of out towards the road, and now not only is the water not being directed away from the house, but it's being directed back towards the building and then has nowhere else to go but then to carry all of this dirt away. So it's kind of compounding because there were so many things that were either not done wrong or not done as instructed, that it's just snowballed to this point.
Go ahead, and if you have anything to say regarding this
Oh, just
property.
same thing with Glen Lily. Before I sold to the new owner, I done passed all the final inspection, and I just don't know why it just, yeah, I'll pass all the final inspection before I sold it to them. I mean, the new owner right there. And after I sold it to the new owner, they have done some change. The parking used to be a concrete, and then I don't know why they put they took out the concrete and they put blacktop. That's why you see all the gravel around the parking lot, but it wasn't the job I done.
And so do you understand that all the things that need to be done in order to get this in compliance?
Yes, I've done everything I supposed to done already. And again, I passed all the final inspection and then transferred to the new owner. And she took out the concrete parking and she put blacktop. I don't know why, but she did put the blacktop, and I didn't do that job. That's why.
Who put the stairs in?
It was my people, my
You did?
guys, yes.
Okay.
But not the blacktop. It used to be concrete.
Should that be a different, I mean, should that be a different case? I mean, just the blacktop? I mean, should he have to pay for that since he didn't do that?
It's really the totality of the situation at this point. If the only correction, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, if the only correction at this point was that they switched from the concrete to the blacktop, I don't know that we'd be sitting here. I think it's the totality of everything that has transpired over an extended period of time that has gotten us to where we are. Is that fair to say?
There's been quite a few inspections before receiving a final for this property that were failed. He was granted a final to move people in with the understanding that he still had to fix all of these issues, but it kept getting put off, and then he sold it anyway.
I understand that he's out of compliance. I'm just asking if he gets everything else fixed, is he gonna be responsible for the driveway as well? Because, I mean, personally, if he wasn't the one that did it, I don't think he should be the one that has to pay for the driveway. I think he should have to do everything else, but the driveway, I feel like, should be on them.
Driveway was not the issue, it's more the stormwater issues and the vegetation needing to be grown.
I'll make a motion to uphold the citation and fine amount of $1,200.
Second.
Point Holman. Roll call.
Earbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
So the fine and citation will still stand.
Mr. Nguyen, while you're here, do you have any questions for staff about exactly what needs to be done, what backfill means, or what
sir.
other, okay.
All right. Madam Clerk?
Agenda item 2024-63 is an appeal for animal protection. Case number 2024-9420 for citation number 2024-16211. The citation fine is in the amount of $80.54 for the property located at 3235 Spring Hollow Avenue. The owner is Leslie and Rosemary Fall. Respondent is Les Fall. Mr. Fall is in the audience to address the board this afternoon, and Officer Catherine Collier will present the case.
So this case was the result of a complaint-based inspection done on July 23rd. During the initial inspection, the following violations were observed. The dog was running loose in public, as well as trespassing on other properties not belonging to the dog owner. On July 23rd, I spoke with the complainant who told me this had been going on for months and it was becoming a dangerous situation. He sent me video of the dog standing at his back door, barking at his dogs through the glass. The complainant lives 2 buildings away from the location. Upon arriving, I witnessed the small Yorkshire Terrier on the front porch of apartment A at 3235 Spring Hollow Ave. There was a maintenance vehicle in the driveway, and the maintenance personnel told me that the dog owner was not home at the time. He gave me a phone number for the dog owner, and I contacted him. He was very upset and said that the maintenance man must have let the dog out, which I understood. I asked if the dog is typically let out alone, and he stated that the dog is let out to use the bathroom, and he's not willing to use any of the methods of confinement that I had suggested to contain the dog to the property. I sent a notice of violation that day to the PVA-listed owner and the address with an additional copy mailed to the tenant and the dog owner in apartment A. So there's a video that was from that incident in July.
Just a disclaimer before we show the video, there is a bit of foul language in the video that follows.
Get the go home. Get out of here.
So you can tell in this video, but the dog had actually run through some vegetation between the properties and back out around to his property. On July 26th, I received a voicemail from the owner of the property, Mr. Fall, in regards to the NOV. When I returned his call, he expressed how upset the tenant was, and I explained the process of the NOV, reiterating that as long as the dog was under his owner's control and not allowed to run loose or trespass, that it would be closed unless we got further complaints. So he requested that I contact him first if any more complaints were to come in. On July 30th, I did an inspection of the property and did not observe the dog out running loose. We did not receive any other complaints or were provided any video evidence of the dog running loose, so the property appeared in compliance and the case was closed. On October 27th, another complaint was received and a call was dispatched out to the location. The complaint was for the dog running loose, approaching and agitating the complainant and his dog. He sent more videos of the dog in the yard, as well as the dog running back home into an open back door, unaccompanied by an owner. I called the property owner before going out to the property per his request. He asked I go out to speak with the dog owner to see if we could come to a solution. The dog owner was, again, very agitated and refused to contain his dog to the property, stating that he just wanted a citation or a fine because he didn't want to tie the dog up. So I called the property owner back, and he also stated that he tried to speak with the owner and got the same response. He advised as well to just go ahead and issue a citation since the tenant was not willing to cooperate. So I do have 2 more videos from that incident showing the dog loose as well as him running back home.
Hey, come get your dog. Go home. Hey, come on, get back, come on.
So that second video was taken from his property and quite zoomed in to show him going up the back stairs. On that day, the citation was issued and I hand-delivered it to the property owner at his home as he requested. It was also sent first-class and certified mail to the PVA-listed owner. A copy of the citation was also mailed to the tenant and the dog owner at apartment A. A compliance inspection was scheduled for the week of November 4th, which has since been postponed due to the followed appeal. It should also be noted that I looked up previous cases in the system, and on April 19th and April 20th, calls were dispatched regarding the complaint of the dog matching the same description running loose in the area. The complainant at the time reported the dog was biting at and being aggressive with the complainant and his dogs. The notes in the system from a different animal control officer other than myself who responded were that the owner was confrontational, refused to voluntarily comply by leashing the dog, and said to just issue him a citation at that time as well. So he was given a verbal warning and educated on how to voluntarily comply with the ordinance. As of the 18th of this month, the case has been open for 23 days.
Paul? Yes, sir. I'm gonna swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth?
Don't raise that.
That's fine. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes.
All right, if you'll state your name and then go ahead and tell us your side.
Catherine, I want to apologize to you for cutting you off on Sunday. We were getting ready to go to church, and I said, go ahead and do the citation. I didn't realize it was going to be of this complication. But, and I have talked to my tenant, who is a nice gentleman generally. I know he got upset about the dog situation, and I have too. But I'd love to know who this complainant is, because my tenant, in my opinion, is a good citizen, and he loves that dog, and he's not going to let a little dog like that out and run the neighborhood. Something's happened here that I don't know, but he and I have had an agreement that we've got to keep the control on that dog, and he agrees with that. And he doesn't leave the dog unattended, I'm sure. I've never seen it that way. Of course, I'm not there all the time because I'm the landlord, but I've been in the house and seen the dog, and it's a wonderful little pup. Not that I want a dog, but he does, and that's fine. So I know he got a little uptight. Earlier in the year, there was a situation where I had a contractor into the unit to put new floors down, and that dog got out. And when my tenant got home and found the dog out and about, he was very upset with the contractor, but that was one issue. But I just don't see why there's this complaint, because it's not normal for my tenant to be that way. And that's about all I can say, you know. But he and I have discussed it. One reason he doesn't want to go latch him down in the yard downstairs is he's had some foot and leg problems, and he has a hard time walking steps, so he tries to control it from on the top. And I just can't believe that this dog is causing so much trouble in the whole neighborhood, unless somebody has something out for my tenant, and he doesn't know who. And we've discussed this, and there are some wild animals in that neighborhood, I know, because I thought I was getting attacked by one when I was over there. A pit bull came around the corner of my property, and I didn't know if I was going to make it through or not. But anyway, if I'd have been a little more patient with Catherine, we probably wouldn't be here today. I have faith that we have this under control as much as possible. You can't let a dog out and keep it on its actual property, but if you're watching it, and my tenant, I think, does, because he loves that dog, he's got a lot of money into it, and he's not going to let it out in the neighborhood. So I'm just appealing the case because I feel we don't have a bad situation, and we will definitely try in every way, me and my tenant, to assure that and to you, Catherine, that we keep this under control. And basically what I have to say, I think you people would do a good job. You got a heck of a task up here. This is a new experience for me. I've been in Bowling Green since probably '67. And when I was driving in this afternoon, I got thinking about how great Bowling Green is. Heck of a town. And we can all be proud of it. So that's all I have to say.
Is there a reason?
I appreciate your time.
Is there a reason he doesn't take the dog out front? There's no steps out front. He could tie the dog out front if he wanted to.
I don't know. It's been
So I'm going to assume that the same person's been complaining, whoever has the video of the dog barking at their door. Me being a dog owner myself, I know if another animal comes up to my door, my dogs go crazy. And then I've got a house full of dogs that are just scratching everything, trying to get out.
I don't know when that happened. It may have been the time that the contractor let the dog out. But it's not a normal thing. That's all I can say. It's not a normal thing for that dog to be off our property or within range of our property. I just can't.
But you saw these 3 videos that just shows that the dog was not on his property. Clearly the neighbor was upset. Would you agree?
Yeah, I do. But what's he upset about? What, a little dog about that tall?
Well, the issue is you can't just say that since you have a small little dog that's not going to bite another dog.
No.
You can't just say they can be off a leash.
I don't argue that point at all.
Yeah.
I don't. We need to keep the animals under control.
Honestly, I'm more concerned for the tenant's dog, if I'm being honest, because of the neighbor that's complaining. Something may happen to that dog. I would just recommend that where you have that vegetation sort of parted, maybe gate that in some fashion so it just doesn't enter the complainant's yard, and hopefully that would resolve it.
If we knew who this individual is, we may have something against him. I know my tenant, he mows my yard and he mows a couple other yards. Somebody's dog might have got at him and he fussed about it, so revenge, I don't know. But it's not.
Well,
One thing that concerns me is that, I mean, I don't know your tenant, maybe he's a great person, but we now have 2 animal control officers who have confronted him about the dog. He's been confrontational and said, I'm not tying my dog up.
Well,
he didn't apologize for the dog being off property. He just said, I'm not doing anything.
Well, I agree to that extent about that. He can get a little radical and talk about his dog. That's his buddy, and but I know he has. He got a little bit that way with me in the conversation this last time. He said, "Well, I'll just sell the dog if I have to, or I'll move if you want me to." I said, no. Let's settle down and talk about it. And he'll do that. And I feel comfortable that we've had a good relation, but he's had some problems recently, physical, and I think it's bothering him, and he just got a short fuse sometimes. And that's, not that he's a bad guy, he's not.
Well, I know you had said that you guys have a plan to,
What?
you guys have a plan to keep the dog. What is that plan?
He'll stay on the porch or on the deck and watch that dog. He minds him. He comes on the spot, and he will be watching him. And I think he is primarily. It may have got, like I say, I think it's revenge of some type. But yes, the dog was outside. Yes, it was maybe a little off his property. He made pictures of it. He's making a big issue. The person is sending you videos and making it a real situation for what? Why is he doing it?
We want something to be done. Catherine, it's unlawful for dogs to run loose in the city, right?
Correct, yeah, we do have a leash law, and I had spoken to the owner, yeah, so, oh, sorry. I had suggested to the owner, because there are tethers that are long enough that if he secured it at the bottom of the stairs, you know, the dog could run up the stairs to him with the tether on, he could unclip it, leave, you know, some people hang a nail or screw eye, something like that to clip the tether to. You can clip the dog at the top of the stairs, he can run down, have access to the yard, come back up, unclip the dog. So I had given him multiple suggestions, as well as tying it out front like you had suggested, putting some sort of pen at the bottom of the stairs. He wasn't willing to do any of that.
I'll address this again if it's necessary. Tie him downstairs. It's okay with me. It may not be with him, and if it's not, he and I will get it squared away. I want to go by compliance, and I will. I wish everybody else did, not only on animal control, but property control and everything else. There's a lot that I feel is not fully in compliance, and I know you do too, but there's limits on what you can do that I don't know, so I'll live with it.
I'll make a motion to uphold citation and fine amount of $80.54.
I'll second.
Point, Harmon, roll call.
Beerbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
Well, thank you, and sorry to take your time for such a small incident, but it's a big incident in this way. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Mr.
Catherine.
Fall. Mr. Fall.
Yes.
Here. That's for your payment of the fine.
Is that my Christmas present?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there an elevator here?
There
Yes,
is,
sir.
straight
Right
out
out
that
that
door.
door.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Moving on to old business. Mr. Chairman, the next two cases were a former appeal that have been tabled. This is the third time for them to appear before the Code Board. Would you like to hear both cases at the same time?
Yes.
Agenda item 2024-64 is for planning and zoning, case number 2024-6662 for citation number 2024-11504 for the property located at 405 Beach Street. Owner and respondent is Luna Cruz. The citation fine is $300. Also, agenda item 2024-65 for planning and zoning, case number 2024-6663, citation number 2024-11505 for the property located at 1202 Beauty Avenue. Owner Luna Cruz, respondent Luna Cruz. citation fine for $300, and Officer James Hetty will present both cases.
Thank you. Good evening again. Brad, can you move it down to this slide? Those first are the first couple of when we first appealed back in August. Okay. Maybe go to the next slide. Thank you. All right, that's correct. I did have let's see, the complaint was unimproved gravel at 1202 Beauty Avenue and 405 Beach Street. And it was appealed in August, and we met again in September. And since we met in September, there's a site plan and a site plan with aerial. We met with Mr. Cruz and the landmark engineer, and they provided those two plans. So Mr. Cruz is working towards compliance. If we go to the next slide, please. That slide actually shows a landscape plan and a proposed 8-foot fence. So that was submitted October 28th, 2024. And it's my understanding that to remove the gravel, but also the asphalt company shut down during the winter. So it might be March or so when they get around to the asphalt portion. When me and Miss Hurt came into the room today, Mr. Cruz provided a I don't know if was it an invoice or
Is it still on? Can you hear me? It was a site work. Sorry. He provided us with a contract for site work and paving, and then also where he had paid a deposit for that work to occur. So he is actively working toward compliance on this site.
Thank you. So I know this, as of this date, it's been open for 283 days. However, Mr. Cruz has provided with engineering drawings and a deposit for hopefully the conclusion there in the spring of getting this done. But that's about all I have on the updates reference to this properties.
So, go ahead.
Sorry, I may add one more thing. So I guess based on all of that and just his constant communication with our staff, we would just recommend that you uphold the citation, but not necessarily fine Mr. Cruz because he has been so cooperative. And then if for some reason we need to come back to this board in the future, we can. I don't expect that's going to happen just because of how willing he's been to work with us over the last few months.
You can make that same motion on both cases? Okay, for both cases, I'll make a motion to uphold the citation, but to waive the fine amount of $300.
Second. Harmon, Dearbone, roll call.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes?
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
And thank you, sir, for your work to get this done. Well done. Madam Clerk?
Moving on to new business. Agenda item 2024-66 is for planning and zoning. This is case number 2024-2076 for the property located at 2521 Small House Road, owner Angela Bryan. This is a request for authorization to issue a per-day fine citation. Officer James Hetty will present the case.
Thank you. When we met on this property, the individual had passed that owns the property, and in September, I ended up sending 2 notice of violations to the estate executor, And that was back in September. To this date, I went by today, and those photos, let's see. Brad, can you fast forward to? Yes, right there, probably the next slide. All right, and that is today. I went by, and the gravel is still present on the Zero Small House Road, and also on the 2521. They're still parking in the front yard. I did receive another complaint last week, and that second complaint was the Small House Road is the worst in the area. Leaves with never cleaned up from last fall. And it's sure to be this fall. Pile stuff on the front porch. Yard looks like a junkyard. Truck parked in the yard, not moved for weeks. A car parked beside the truck in the yard. A trailer parked in the side yard, loaded with stuff. 2 garage cans are parked at the side front porch. The old garage is ready to fall in with doors always open. So, you know, the first complaint I received early is, I believe it was August last year, and I just received one last week for that same property. But anyway, the new estate executor has been notified with that notice of violation, and to this date, that hadn't been corrected. And that shows August, that should be actually August 7th of 2023 till November the 18th. It's been open for 470 days.
Not. I'd like to make a motion to implement the per day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until in compliance.
Second?
Dearborn, Lapointe, roll call.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes?
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that going to apply to both properties now, just to 2020, 25, 21?
It'll be both. The Zero, it has the, they're 2 separate lots though, but
Yeah, that's why I was asking you that, make sure that,
We have to do them separately
Do a
since
separate
they
one?
are a per
Okay.
day fine.
okay.
sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. So that way we get it done correctly. So I'd also like to make a motion to make sure it's the exact same thing, but to do the per day fine of $100 for the 60 days or until in compliance.
Second?
Dearborn and Lapointe, roll call.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes?
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, let me tell you one thing. From the date you sent the letter out to the executor on both these properties, they have 60 days in which to deny the fact that they owe this money. And if not, under probate law, because we know now there's an executor been appointed, they're responsible for that, so the estate will be responsible for that. Doesn't have anything to do with the $100 day fine. That still sticks for that. So you have another way of collecting it. You might talk to Hamp about that. You might just have him give me a call.
60 days from when the letter comes out, not the 10-day, usually what we usually for the.
2 different things.
Okay.
You actually have a claim against the estate. And once you put the personal representative, in this case it's an executor, on notice and say, you owe us this, you haven't done things, they have 60 days to admit or deny it. If they fail to do any response, it's admitted and it is a valid claim against the estate. Has to do with probate law, but you might tell, you got 2 things going at once.
Yes, sir.
It's a good way to collect your money, is what I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Agenda item 2024-68 is for code compliance. This is a request for authorization to issue a per day fine citation for case number 2024-6854 for the property located at 1228 Oliver Street. The owner is Glenaspia and Johnny T. England, and Officer Heather Lashley will present the case.
Good evening. This case was the result of a citizen complaint on August 7th, 2024. During the inspection on August 8th, 2024, the following violations were observed: vacant structures and land, abandoned property and structure, failure of duty of maintenance of private property, accumulation of landscape debris, visual obstruction of streets, and accumulation of scattered garbage. You'll see there's tree down on the back of the property. The bush was kind of blocking. We were getting complaints that as passersby went through, they couldn't see because of the overgrown bush. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on August 9th, 2024, with a compliance reinspection date of August 19th, 2024. BGMU was contacted and the property had not had utility service since November of 2021. Just some more overgrowth there, a dilapidated outbuilding with a tarp on it, just obvious signs that the property wasn't being taken care of. On August 21st, 2024, the property was re-inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance reinspection date listed on the citation was September 3rd, 2024. On September 4th, 2024, a work order request was submitted to have a city contractor remove large portions of fallen trees in the back and side yards, clean up and removed scattered garbage from the exterior of the property, cut down a bush close to the road that was causing sight distance problems, and maintain some overgrowth of unmaintained foliage. That work was completed on September 12th, 2024. On September 13th, 2024, and you'll probably see through some of my pictures there, we've posted many citations there. Our office has, and our contractors have mowed it probably for the past 2 years. Last year and this year, I've issued citation just to get it mowed, but not being maintained. On September 13, 2024, the property was re-inspected and remained in violation. Citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance re-inspection date listed on the citation was September 23rd, 2024. On September 25th, 2024, the property was re-inspected and remained in violation. You've probably seen the piles of leaves, again, the overgrowth on the front, sides, and back of the property. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance reinspection date listed on the citation was October 7th, 2024. And then just some more overgrowth of bushes and vegetation there. Was by there today and took the current day photos. And you'll just see all of my citations for grass and on the door for just property maintenance. But this case has been open for 102 days and remains in violation. There have been 13 cases at this property in the last 2 years for overgrown grass, which has been abated by a city contractor on a frequent basis.
I'll make a motion to implement a per-day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until compliant.
Now second.
Point, Harmon, roll call.
Earbone.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Harmon. LaPointe.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just follow me down the street a little ways and we'll find 1309 Oliver Street, that we're going to talk about next. Okay. This case was the result of a citizen complaint on July 31st, 2024. During the inspection conducted on August 2nd, 2024, the following violations were observed: accumulation of rubbish and garbage, inadequate or unmaintained protective treatment, and inadequate unmaintained roofs and drainage. You'll see here, this house is pretty much falling in. I don't know how to say it any better than that. The roof is bad, as you see. Underneath the front, the soffit, there's a big hole underneath the front overhang. and you'll see everything's just kind of accumulated as things are falling apart there. A notice of violation was sent to PVA listed owner and address that day with a compliance reinspection date of August 19th, 2024. A door hanger was posted on the property on August 20th, 2024, trying to establish contact with someone. On September 3rd, 2024, and September 4th, 2024, the property was reinspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance reinspection date listed on the citation was September 16th, 2024. I also called BGMU, and they stated the property hadn't had utility service since September 17th, 2019. You'll see the citation issued on September 4th, the overgrowth on the front of the property, vegetation, all the rubbish that's kind of accumulated from that open space that you see there in the picture. Things are falling apart there. Following violations were added to the citation: unmaintained vacant structures and land, abandoned property structures, accumulation of landscape debris, failure of duty of maintenance of private property. You'll see sidings coming off the house, the soffit fashion, bad shape, the outbuilding, chipped, cracked, peeling paint, just kind of dilapidated and falling apart. On September 11th, 2024, a granddaughter of the owner called and advised that her attorney stated to let the city have the property because so much tax is owed and she can't pay it. On September 17th, 2024, a work order was submitted for a city contractor to cut up and remove a large portion of tree that had fallen in the front of the property, and that work was completed on September 30th, 2024. On October 2nd, 2024, the property was re-inspected and remained in violation. The second citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address, with the compliance re-inspection date listed on the citation of October 14th, 2024. The following violations were listed on the citation: unmaintained vacant structures and land, abandoned property structures, accumulation of rubbish and garbage, failure of duty of maintenance of private property, unmaintained roof drainage, inadequate or unmaintained protective treatment. And here's the photos from that second citation. You'll see, big thing here, they're just letting it fall apart. No one from the family except the granddaughter stepped up and really provided any kind of communication at all. So just severe deterioration of that house. On October 15th, 2024, the property was re-inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address, with the compliance re-inspection date listed on the citation of October 25th, 2024. You'll see all my citations posted there on that front door too. This case has been open for 109 days and remains in violation. The property owners are deceased and the property is vacant and abandoned as defined by code. We have had several overgrown grass cases at this property in the last 2 years as well, where work orders were required to have the lawn mowed.
So question, this may be for Brad or this may be for council. After we do, if we do the per day fine, at what point does the house get demolished, or does the city do something about it, since the owners are deceased and there doesn't seem to be anybody else stepping up to do anything with it?
I'm not saying that demolition is out of the question, especially based on the condition of the front porch there. At this point, the idea behind the per day fines is to basically tip the scales to where if no one's paying the taxes and we have accumulating code violation fees, that we can then foreclose on the property and sell it at master commissioner auction, which Mr. Broderick would then put it in someone else's hands. They could demolish it or rehab it or do whatever they want. If that is too lengthy of a process to where it does start to become a danger to the public, then we would look at demolishing the house and still go through the same process, foreclose on the property and then just sell a grass lot. But either way, the idea behind the per day fine in this respect is not to get someone's attention, obviously, but it's to tip the scales so that the city's law department can move forward with foreclosure.
Final dilemma is if there's nobody left, if there's no state open, we don't have any choice but to take those steps. That's the most prudent and expeditious way. Not real fast, but it gets it done.
I'll make a motion to implement a per-day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until compliant.
I'll second.
Point Harmon. Roll call.
Beerbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes?
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
Okay, agenda item 2024-70 for code compliance. This is a request for authorization to demolish. Case number 2024-6923. Location is 1612 Madison Street. Owner is Frank Waters, and Officer Brad Shagorotsky will present the case.
I appreciate everyone's patience thus far, and hopefully these next two will be pretty quick, but I will warn you that this one is a pretty lengthy case. So I welcome you along the journey we're about to take, because it is quite the property. So this is 1612 Madison Street. The case was the result of a complaint-based inspection that was conducted on the 8th of August of this year. Our office was contacted by the Bowling Green Police Department at that time, who was on scene of an apparently vacant house being occupied by squatters. During that initial inspection, we noted the following violations: dangerous building, structure unfit for human occupancy, prohibited occupancy, condemnation placard, unfit for human habitation, no utilities turned on since July of this year, broken boarded windows, exterior doors missing and not in good repair, accumulated junk and scrap, accumulated construction and demolition debris, exterior use or storage of indoor furniture, noxious substance and odors, inadequate sanitation, accumulated rubbish or garbage, and improper disposal of rubbish and garbage. A citation was issued on that date due to the conditions of the property, which I'll show you here in just a moment, and the need was imminent to condemn the structure at that time. The citation was sent by first-class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address, as well as posted on the property with a compliance inspection date listed on the citation of August 19th. We also submitted an emergency work order and had a contractor come. We remained on scene until the contractor got there after hours that day to board up the dwelling for the safety of neighbors and the public. So you'll see pictures here with the police department as they arrived on scene. Basically what had happened was the owner of this property was deceased. Squatters found out that the house was vacant and broke in and decided to have a yard sale with all of that person's belongings. So they basically took everything out of the house and was trying to sell it in the front yard. So there was a large amount of items both in the front yard, the side yard here as you go along the side, and then the backyard with the shed in the back. So it got progressively worse. This is the inside of the house that we could see through the doors and windows as the police department was clearing the structure to make sure no one was inside. As you can see, they've gone through the cabinets to take all of the flatware out and sell it in the front yard. We cleaned up the front yard enough so that it wasn't too much of an eyesore, put it all back inside the house, and the city contractor came and boarded the house up. We posted all of the appropriate placards, and there's what it looked like before we left that evening. So basically here's a 2 o'clock on the left and 4:45 on the right-hand side there. So we got it in a little bit better shape to last the night. While we were at that location, Officer McKenna Tabor obtained a phone number of someone related to the property named Pamela. She explained that the house belonged to her husband's grandparents. She was notified the condition of the dwelling and state of the exterior of the property and that we'd be boarding the house. Shortly thereafter, 2 other individuals arrived at the property who stated that they were other grandchildren of the deceased property owner. They walked around the property with us, stated that it was clearly beyond redemption and that they would work with the other family members to obtain a demolition permit. On the 13th of August, Officer Tabor received a phone call from someone who did not identify the relationship to the property owner, but asked if there were any resources that the city had in demolishing the property. Since they couldn't afford to, we explained the demolition, voluntary demolition process and the lien procedure that we had available, and they were not interested in that. On August 30th, the property was re-inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and sent by first-class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address, as well as posted on the property. The compliance inspection date listed on the citation was the 9th of September. Also on this date, a work order was submitted for a city contractor to come and clean up the exterior of the property because it had a significant amount of junk, trash, rubbish, and debris, which presented both a sanitation and safety concern and a blighting concern. So we cleaned up the front, as you saw in that last picture before we left. Here it is now on August 30th. There's more stuff that has magically appeared in front, and as we go through the back here, again, here's just the debris, accumulated junk, trash, wires, shopping carts, sanitation. There were rats and unknown fluids and odors, and it's just a mess. So we put a work order in to have a contractor come out and take care of this. We got 3 bids from 3 city contractors to make sure that we had the lowest bidder before we proceeded with that work order. Before that could happen, on the 3rd of September, the Bowling Green Fire Department reported that a fire occurred the previous evening, and they wanted to notify us of that. So we sent a structural damage letter to the listed owner as a formality. Upon inspection, we also discovered that someone had broken into the house. So here's the fire letter that we sent out on the 3rd. A narrative from the fire department says that upon arrival of Engine 4, they observed a small building with light smoke showing from the eaves. The home was boarded around and condemned by code enforcement, and they were unable to do a complete 360 due to the large amounts of rubbish in the backyard. So it just goes to show how much of a danger the house is presenting even to the fire department and emergency services. Here's our inspection the morning after the fire. The fire didn't make it too far into the house. They were able to knock it down pretty quickly. This is the side that the fire was set on. This is the opposite side of the house. So if you're facing the house, this is on the left-hand side. So there was smoke that went through the attic and came out the eaves, but the fire department, to their credit, got a really good knock on it pretty quick. Here's the board that we discovered that was pried open upon our arrival. Did an inspection around the back. There's the largest beanbag chair ever in that shopping cart back there, as well as just all the other stuff in the backyard. While we were there, we started to hear noise inside the house, so we called the police department. It turns out that there was a gentleman inside the house during our entire inspection, so he was promptly removed and arrested, which was one of many arrests that you will see as we go through this. It appears that he had taken up residence in the back shed where he had a bed, a desk, and some other items there. So again, that was his arrest. The first cleanup work order, again, we had bids from 3 city contractors, submitted that work order, and that was completed on the 12th of September. Keep that date in mind. Here's what the exterior of the property looked like. In order to save taxpayer money, what we did is we took all of the items that were on the exterior of the property and put them all inside the house in the shed so that we didn't have to pay dump tickets and have everything hauled off, which is a substantially larger cost. On the 30th of September, property was inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address, as well as posted on the property. The compliance inspection date listed on that citation was October 10th. Upon arriving at the location, Officer Tabor discovered that the exterior of the property was completely trashed again. It was full of rubbish, junk, debris, unsanitary conditions, and there was a subject living in the shed again. At this point, we decided to install a trail cam. So we have a trail cam at that property in order to monitor the ongoing number of individuals continually on the property and to hopefully catch someone before they set it on fire again. We also lodged a request for extra patrols with the Bowling Green Police Department to ban any trespassers at the location, and submitted yet another work order for a city contractor to clean the exterior of the property and this time haul off and dispose of everything instead of just hiding it back in the house. Here's pictures from that 3rd citation. So there's all 3 citations and the condemned placard. Of course, here's the exterior of the property. If you recall that it was previously cleaned, and here we are again, not cleaned. So we conducted numerous inspections, October 1st, 4th, 9th, 15th, 28th, and the 7th of this month. Did another cleanup work order on October 15th. We have banned, arrested, or removed multiple subjects from the property on an ongoing basis. Here are just a couple of those inspection dates just to give you an idea of kind of the ongoing nuisance that it presents and how many times that we have had to use city services and have police officers at the scene here. Again, this is before the 2nd cleanup work order, but there again are rats, insects, odors, standing water. It's just a mess. Here are pictures of the 2nd cleanup. So this is October 14th after the 2nd work order, and it is clean as a whistle. They took everything out of there, hauled it all off, and threw it all away. So we pretty much just have the shell of the shed. There are still items inside the house, but Officer Will Mang and I went back through and we put metal bars across all of the plywood, and so far, knock on wood, it's kept everyone out. Here are just a sampling of over 100 different incidents that were caught on trail cam of individuals being here. So here's September of 2024 of different times that either the police department or vagrants were caught on the property. Here again is September of 2024. You can see these are all different people going in and out of the shed, doing who knows what at different times of the day and night, 4 a.m., 6 p.m., 3 p.m. Here again is October. We've got the police department there. Someone at the top left corner is kind of, I guess, peeking in or out there. More police department activity. At this point, we discovered that one of the vagrants or homeless individuals or whoever had discovered our camera that was in the tree because we had a bunch of pictures of them staring at it and trying to get it down. So then we had to take a ladder and move the camera to a different location much higher up so that it was not accessible by people. So that's why it's a different angle, but same location. And again, all hours of the day and night, we get notifications that there are people there. We have the police department respond over there and either arrest or ban them. So here's the current state of the property. As of today, the case has been open for 103 days. There's been no communication from any family members or heirs to the property regarding demolition, maintenance, or upkeep of the property. The property continues to be uninhabitable, damaged by fire, boarded, unmaintained, and unsafe, as well as a blight on the surrounding area. Code staff and police continue to expend time and effort to monitor the property due to unauthorized persons at the location, and over $1,000 of taxpayer money has been spent in work order fees to board up and clean up the property multiple times. Pictures from today these are pictures from the 15th, so these are pictures from Friday. I stand corrected, not from today. There is a mattress and a washer dryer or a washer in the shed, but we have not seen anyone in there any of the times we've been over there other than just the trail cam activity. The house does remain boarded up. Again, knock on wood. There are some areas where when the fire had occurred that the roof is starting to cave in ever so slightly. Not to the point that it's a potential for collapse, but certainly it will get that way eventually. And then here's last night. So this is yesterday, just to show that this is ongoing activity. I know it looks like midnight, but that's only 5:30 p.m. But there's several individuals there with flashlights going through the property even just yesterday. So it's an ongoing blight and nuisance. Our request is to demolish the structure. The code and ordinance are here on the screen for you regarding demolition and the code that allows us to do that. Additionally, I wanted to note, and this is the same for this case and the next one, that board approval for involuntary demolition simply allows staff to begin the lengthy administrative process of lien holder notification, asbestos inspections, utility removal, and eventually demolition. The city's law department provides what is known as a demo memo, informing us as to all parties with any sort of financial interest in the property whatsoever. If the board were to authorize the demolition, we mail letters to all parties on that list, which sometimes is 10 or 15 different, lien holders or financial interest in the property. And we send that by first class and certified mail, informing them that all structures will be demolished and allowing them 30 days to contact our office to stop demolition. Once that 30 days has elapsed, all utility companies are notified to remove service to the building. The structure is checked for asbestos, which is remediated if found. And then the demolition is obtained by the city's contractor, and then demolition is scheduled. The process takes anywhere between 45 and 60 days once authorized by the board. So it is not like if the board were to authorize this request, we just go out and knock it down tomorrow. There's a lot of administrative, tasks that go on behind the scene to notify anyone that might want to come out of the woodwork and say, hey, we want to save this house, or, we'll take an interest in this house. But otherwise, if nothing's heard in that 30 days, we knock it down. It's nothing but grass, and then likely, again, we'll have to maintain it until Mr. Broderick sells it at Master Commissioner.
If nobody else has it, I'll make a motion to authorize the staff to move forward with involuntary demolition of all structures at this property.
Second.
Dearborn, LaPointe, roll call.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes?
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
Final case is Agenda Item 2024-71 for code compliance. This is also a request for authorization to demolish for case number 2024-5075 for the property located at 112 15th Avenue West. Owner is Susan Bryan, and Officer Brad Shagaretsky will present the case.
Final case, so hang in there. Okay. This one is not nearly as bad as Madison is. This case was the result of a fire and structural damage inspection conducted on the 3rd of June of this year. We were notified by the Bowling Green Fire Department that there was a house that was on fire, and they requested our assistance. On that date, a fire placard was placed on the damaged structure, and a fire letter was sent to the PVA-listed owner and address with instructions on how to proceed with obtaining proper permits to repair or demolish the structure and timelines for taking that action. You see on the screen here is the structural damage notice, as well as one of the narratives from the fire department. The fire was extensive in this house to where it is, as the insurance company has determined, a total loss. It would be difficult to repair or renovate this house at this point. Here's the time of the fire when Officer Duderick arrived, and they were in the process of extinguishing the fire. Here it is as we've secured the property, posted fire placards, and boarded the structure up. Utilities were removed, and the structure was boarded all the way around. On June 11th, Officer Sonia Duderick received a call from a family member regarding the property and insurance claim status. They also spoke again on the 5th of August. We gave them a couple months, of course, because these things take a while. And that family member stated that they were still in the process of listing the contents of the house for the insurance company. Officer Duderick then talked with family members on the 19th of August, 21st of August, and 22nd of August through a series of phone calls with relatives of the property or their representatives. She was told that there were some legal complications involving the siblings and insurance money, so they had scheduled a court date for the 10th of September. On the 10th of September, we were contacted that the judge had continued the case for 2 more weeks. That person also said that the siblings were interested in signing a consent form to have the city demolish the house and place a lien for the costs. On October 10th and 17th, Officer Duderick attempted multiple phone calls, texts, and voicemails to reach out to anyone, and no one responded, so they kind of started to ghost us. But on October 30th, one of the siblings called into our office to say that there was a short window of time where all siblings would be meeting together at the bank that day, and she was going to try to get everyone to sign the voluntary consent forms to have the house demolished. Pam and I worked to generate all of those forms, and she did show up at the customer service window. We provided her with those forms, explained exactly where to sign, what to sign, and to bring them back to us, and no one ever came back. On the 4th and 8th of this month, Officer Duderick continued trying to reach out to anyone to get back in contact with them, and those attempts were unsuccessful. So it pretty much appears that they've taken the insurance money at this point and run with it. On the 12th of November, the property was inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address and posted on the property with a compliance inspection date of the 22nd of November. Violations listed on the citation were dangerous building, unsafe structure, structure unfit for human occupancy, dangerous structure or premises, damaged building, time period for action on dangerous building, failure to demolish dangerous structure, vacant structures and land, broken boarded windows, and unlicensed inoperable vehicle. Oh, there's a back, hold on. And failure of duty of maintenance of private property, accumulation of tires outdoors, and accumulated rubbish and garbage. As of the 18th of this month, the case has been open 169 days. Staff has exhausted all attempts at voluntary compliance or voluntary demolition. According to the information provided by Officer Duderick, one of the siblings, the insurance company has declared the house a total loss and paid the claim out to the heirs. And again, since that time, they have pretty much ghosted us. So here's pictures of the citation that was issued and posted on the property. The house still sits there boarded. There's an inoperable car that was listed for sale for some period of time and now is just sitting there. The shed has opened back up at some point recently. That was boarded fully up, so we're going to have to do a work order and resecure that, especially because of the area that it's in. It's a high traffic area for vagrancy and homelessness. But again, there's the vehicle, tires, and so here's the current state of the property, no change. It's been open 168 days. This one, again, our request is to demolish. The same process applies where we're going to notify everyone. However, and Mr. Broderick might be able to shed a little more light on this, the city attorney is working with a warning order attorney in order to make sure that all parties are properly notified. We were originally told that there were 3 heirs. Now I guess there's 4, but one of them might be incarcerated for a lengthy period of time and is somehow not in the picture. All that to say, it's a complicated legal mess that we'll have to notify everyone and work with a warning order attorney. But if we were to wait until January to request this authorization, then what, if in that meantime, between now and the January hearing at the end of January, if we can go through that process, then we can just go ahead and move right along, versus if we wait till the end of January and ask, it puts us several more months behind. So that's why we're just asking now for the authorization. As long as we can iron out all the legal mess, then we'll move forward appropriately.
If we do it now, 60-day waiting period from which a warning or attorney notifies someone till action can be taken. Because of the way I anticipate our schedule to be in January, that 60 days would have been gone. So we're 60 days ahead of it at this point in time. So that's point well taken. And not to complicate the issue, there is some theory that if people are incarcerated, they're under a disability, which I understand it's a self-invoked one, but you can file a foreclosure in that setting in what's called an in rem action, and it would be only against the property, which would still be able to us to speed that way. So we're moving. That's probably an expedited way of handling it. It's the best way to handle it without a question. So we're good.
That's something Hillary can do?
Yes.
Okay.
I will make the motion to authorize staff to move forward with involuntary demolition of all structures at this property.
Second.
Dearborn, LaPointe, roll call.
Dearborn,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes?
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
All right, now we're at the comments and announcements portion of the meeting. The staff has recommended to the board that we cancel the December hearing due to the upcoming holiday. I will go ahead and make that motion that we cancel the December meeting, and our next meeting would be in January on Tuesday, the 28th.
Quick, I wanted to more formally introduce Keenan. Statute has always allowed the board to have an alternate. In fact, there's 2 alternates that are allowed by statute, and that's been on the books ever since code enforcement was founded in the city. We've never taken advantage of that, frankly, because I don't think any of us had ever read that portion of the statute to realize that we could do that. So we were able to kind of put out feelers of people that were interested in the community on serving on a board. And a couple people actually had suggested Keenan. So as the mayor said, has his own law practice now, recently graduated law school, so we're very excited to bring him on board. His role will be if in advance one of the regular board members, one of you, has informed us that you'll be out of town or not able to attend, he will then still has the same powers and everything now that he's sworn in to sit in your place. And so we just wanted to welcome him, and if you have any questions or anything for him while he's here, or he can give a speech, or.
I've known Keenan for a few years, good guy, so we made a good choice. Yeah. Anything you want to say, Keenan?
I just want to thank you all for the opportunity. Obviously, I mean, this is kind of cool to experience this tonight and watch you all in action and getting to see all the work that you do for this community and making sure it's safe and in compliance with code. And I've learned a lot, honestly, just sitting in this chair the past hour and a half. But again, looking forward to serving on this committee, and anything I can do on my end to ever serve you all or add value, more than happy to do it. Thank you.
So now I guess I need to make a motion. I will make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Dearborn, LaPointe, roll call.
Dearborn,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes?
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.